Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. It's something new on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you into the Let's Play episode of Before You Depart. So y'all, before we jump into it, I just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up. We've got bronze for $5, silver for $10, and gold for $15 respectively, each with their own exclusive rewards, and all of them grant permanent access to our community Discord server. There's already a few of y'all have already signed up, and y'all, it really helps the channel out, especially considering that, well, this is probably big news. Well, I mean, this is big news. My partner and I are going to be moving again. Yep, our plan is for October, and anything you guys can throw our way will definitely help. This is going to be our final move, hopefully for the foreseeable future. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. What time is it anymore? How long will it be until it's done? I had no sense of when anything was. I'd wake up each night, confused and scared. I could barely recognize the faces of the nurses. The end had arrived. My body was finally giving in. I had no interest in the games, no interest in the massages. The only thing I wanted to do was simply lay there, staring up at the ceiling with eyes half closed and mouth slightly agape. The pain had gotten unbearable, and I spent most of the day addled by agony that the medication only slightly subdued. One night, the night before I died, I dreamt about Mom and Dad again. They were actually together, smiling. It was lovely. Dad had made a smoked brisket sandwich glazed with barbecue sauce. Even then, in my dying stupor, I could remember the tingling sensation of its sweetness on my tongue. Mom would laugh alongside him. We invited Stella over for some games. There was no particular passage of time, no real linearity to it all. One moment I was there with them, then I was middle-aged, nice and wealthy with several children and a loving husband. My parents were now elderly, so I took them on a nice tour of Europe. The way they looked so happy together as they stared at the Eiffel Tower, it felt so real. There was another dream, one where I was still an infant, barely coherent with language. I showed my parents a finger painting. They laughed, very proud of their son's incoherent splattering of colors on a canvas. It was intended to depict a dog, the one I always wanted. A dog, yeah. A nice big dog. I remember begging for one when I was about 5, but my dad strictly forbade it. Too much work, he said. Too much responsibility. I wanted him to be cool, big and strong, but affectionate. Someone who'd protect me and sit by my side during rainy days. Someone I could hug, feel their warmth, and let the woes of life wash away in their embrace. Someone who would never. Oh, that's how it went then? You saw it yourself. Humans do often tell me of their suffering at the hands of illness. Does that disturb you? It's nature. This may sound disrespectful, but I truly have seen it all. I did not witness your unfortunate demise just to experience the human suffering. I understand that it exists. I understand more than you could ever know. But I must ask, why? What do you mean? Like, why we live in the first place if it all ends the same? With you? No, as selfish as it may sound, I wonder why I must exist. I was placed into this world as a means of taking you beyond, to take you to your final resting place. Beyond the instinct that is engraved into the very fiber of my being, I cannot understand the purpose of it. Things must change. Things must end. That I truly understand and exist to perform. But the suffering? The sheer suffering of knowing I'm around the corner? Then why are you so chipper? Chipper? Yes, you're nothing like I would have imagined. I was never sure there was an afterlife, much less a canine psychopomp who'd guide me there. You've seen thousands upon thousands of years of death and decay. You said it yourself, you've taken children, mothers, families. Those stricken with disease or those taken by freak twists of fate. You really have seen it all, haven't you? So, why do you care so much, Memento? Why do you care so much about our fleeting little lives if they really are so transient? I didn't always. Early on, life was simple. I'm talking way early on, back before humans roamed the earth. Then it was easy, survival of the fittest, eat or be eaten. Our job was simply to take care of the spiritual remains. As time progressed, as creatures evolved, they gained intelligence. And so did we Reapers. I can't remember much of my early days, but this... Memento motioned to himself. It's nothing like what I was a million years ago. That was par for the course with evolution. Things changed, but the constants remained the same. Survival of the fittest. Dispose of the organisms that have met their end. Be it a sea sponge that starved in the primordial muck, or a towering dinosaur suffocating from the debris of an asteroid. But when humans began walking the Earth, everything changed. The intelligence they gained, they attained heights we could have never predicted. They crafted artwork, culture, and legacy that far exceeded exceeded any previous life form. It's water time. Indeed, the world had begun to revolve around the perception of these new creatures, and so too did we Reapers need to evolve. As I said before, I can't recall much from the time before the humans. It was all primal, mindless you could say, but soon we grew to reflect them. Their philosophies, their desires, their bonds. The end goal was no longer to continue evolution, but rather to seek out the most fulfilling happiness an individual could experience. And perhaps as I grew to reap more humans, heard their stories, their sorrows, their joys, I believe I grew to create my own philosophies as well. I will never go away, Mori. I am fundamental to the existence of life. But Reapers change, and we evolve to fit new life forms. So, what will I be like in a few thousand years? So much culture has changed in the past 1,000 years I've spent reaping humans. I've changed so much in these couple millennia. So perhaps in 1,000,000 years, when humans are long extinct, what will become of this me? This memento? I'm chipper and kind because I've grown with this sort of human experience, but when that changes... Oh, you big lug! What's so funny? So, this whole song and dance we've been doing, this is just you having an existential crisis? Well, when you put it like that, so you put me through all this bullshit to help you come to terms with death when you are death? Memento chuckled. If we knew the Grim Reaper was a stupid puppy dog in need of a big head pat and a belly rub, I don't think anyone would be afraid of death. Oh, I'm sorry. Mori, wrong one. Yeah, wrong voice. Seeing you questioning your own existence, what the hell it all means? That's like basic human philosophy. So as far as understanding our little plight, I'd say you're doing pretty well for yourself, ma'am. It is quite vexing, I must admit. All this complexity. I'd be lying if I said I didn't yearn for the simplicity of the Cambrian period. I sat on the fountain edge next to Memento. But back then you couldn't get a nice belly rub. Trilobites aren't exactly the most affectionate organisms I've taken. Memento placed 2 paws on his fuzzy stomach and shook it around. I cannot imagine him leading like a T-Rex into the afterlife. But now it seems humans have a soft spot for... a soft spot. So I decided to make this belly rounder so there's more surface area. It's worked quite well for me, I must say. Well, I think it looks good on you, I said as I stroked its surface. Maybe keep it for the next era. It was cool to the touch, like the opposite end of a pillow. I wanted to rest my head on it. Memento chuckled a bit, clearly enjoying the experience. The big lug got on his back, unzipped his pants, and exposed the whole thing. Belly rubs! Might have to... yeah. You're honestly quite adorable. I try to be. It makes bringing the bad news easier for some folks. He's really adorable. His fur, his stupid face. Memento peered up at me. Your face! What about it? You look red, like a big cherry. What? Why would I... ah! I buried my face in my hands. Like, water time. Humans do that when they're... I know. How peculiar. I must say, you humans and your proclivities never cease to surprise me. Did you ever read Freud? Did you ever read Freud? He did mention something called the death drive. I was going to, but a woman in Algeria broke her neck while trying to clean a window, so another Reaper had to go about it. From what the other Reaper told me, it seems I was quite fortunate with only having ever dealt with Hegel. Memento rubbed the scruff of his thick neck. Yeah. Memento had a distant look in his eyes as he turned away from me. I guess today took a lot out of his out of this death deity. Me as well. Looked up at the sky. Brilliant hues of red and orange painted behind thick wisps of clouds. The sun was falling at a steady rate, approaching the end of the day and the end of my journey. I stroked Memento's fur, but there was a peculiar lack of reaction from him. He kept looking away from me, cheating his head the other direction. Eventually, Memento gently pushed me off his stomach and he sat, looking troubled. Hey, are you alright? Untruth? No. What's bothering you? Memento then turned his gaze to me and I was met with a sorrowful expression, one I had never seen from the wolf until now. He looked tormented, like something was eating him from inside. Mori, how important is the truth to you? What? If the truth were to bring you more anguish than a blissful lie, wouldn't it be better than to live that lie until the end? Memento, what are you saying? All this affection, all this praise. It has only been an afternoon, and yet I feel close to you. Memento, can you get to the point? There's something wrong. I could feel it. Oh. Mori, I feel this strong burning emotion within me. Is this shame? Guilt? Guilt? Guilty of what? Mori, I have deceived you. What? What do you mean? All this time, I thought it'd make the process easier, but I couldn't help but feel this overwhelming burden atop my shoulders as the day progressed. Memento stared up at the sky, which had become progressively darker as the sun continued its journey beyond the horizon. But I believe I owe you the truth. As your friend. Mori, when I told you before that I knew what was after? No. I was not being truthful in my statement. There's no way. What do you mean? Memento got up from the fountain and looked me in the eyes. A deep anguish was rolling within him as he selected his next words. Mori, there is no paradise. What? My jaw fell slack in shock. The world seemed to slow. Then what lies beyond that final horizon? Nothing. Nothing? At all? Oh! So no one actually knows. Interesting. Not even us Reapers know. There's no trace left, not a hint. The body returns to the earth and the spirit returns to the universe. That's kind of what I feel is kind of the thing. Okay, we're getting into a little bit of one of my personal beliefs. I believe in basically, I guess when your body dies, whatever your spirit is, it becomes one, either becomes one with the universe or you become reincarnated. I've talked about my beliefs a little bit before. Yeah, I can say I have really bizarre memories, before I was, distinctly, I believe they were before I was born. It's very strange. It was like a feeling of being everywhere all at once. And then suddenly, I was in, like, a dark, warm place, my mother's womb. It's very strange to talk about because it's basically a kind of perception that the human mind can barely comprehend. So, I have my experiences with death and possibly even rebirth, so it's interesting that this game basically puts a giant question mark on everything. So, I like that. It's ambiguous. What truly happens to your consciousness, we have no way of knowing. But in all likelihood, I don't expect anything to lie beyond that last horizon. This is the loss of me entirely. Loss of consciousness itself. If it's basically the loss of consciousness, then you will not know you've lost consciousness. So, you won't know. How could you lie to me about this? Most humans, when confronted with oblivion, it's impossible for them to truly grasp it. They begin losing themselves into despair. Many humans indeed ponder or even assert that there's nothing after death, but to receive the explicit truth from me, it breaks them. I simply wanted to what? To alleviate the anxiety as we explored your past. So you lied to me about eternity because it was convenient? Mori, I was promised the greatest reprieve I could imagine. An eternity of paradise after the hell I endured on Earth. I went through all this just for you to satisfy your stupid curiosity? And what did I get in the end? Nothing. That's it. Do you immortals comprehend oblivion? Is it even possible? I'd ask you the same. Can you? Whenever I pictured death, I imagined eternal black, a sea of dark in which I would exist forever. But that implies consciousness. What lies beyond exceeds any human's comprehension. Nothing. Pure oblivion. This piece of shit. I knew it was too good to be true. Truly, how could a death deity understand? Why would it care? To this thing, I'm a fleeting little gnat. No, even less than that. I'm just a tiny blip. Even if this Reaper feels guilty 1,000 years from now, it won't have mattered. Memento will continue to exist until the end of time, perhaps until the very last life form takes its terminal breath and the universe collapses in on itself. But me, this is all I have. This is all that I am. Alright, y'all, on that heavy note, I'm gonna pause it right there. Yeah. I don't know how much longer this game is, but... yeah, this is some very, very heavy stuff. Look for some of the more cheerful videos out there, y'all. And, like, come on, y'all. Like, honestly. Like, death comes for everyone. Death comes for everyone. We don't know. We don't actually know what lies beyond. We don't know if anything lies beyond. Enjoy your life now. Because, let me put it like this. If you lose consciousness, you're not aware you've lost consciousness. So, you know, you won't even know. You won't even know. But anyway, y'all, thanks so much for, well... oh god, now I'm getting philosophical. Damn it, game! It's supposed to be a simple video. Yeah, like I said, I have my own bizarre experiences with death and, like I said, rebirth and memories before being here. It's... yeah, this game really does, like, oof. Really does bring out my more philosophical nature. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks, or tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to check out that Patreon, y'all. Bye-bye!